He was the founder of the humanistic school of philosophy known as Confucianism, which taught the concepts of benevolence, ritual, and modesty. The Chinese teacher and philosopher Confucius lived between 551 to 479 BC. In the 6th century BC, China had begun to break into a loose confederation of city-states, and each of these states was violently competing for power. This period is generally depicted as a time of great moral decline, where principle and integrity meant little to the official classes. Confucius found this situation horrifying, and he attempted to seek a remedy by reviving the great moral teaching of the sages of the past. While he didn't achieve this goal in his lifetime, his teachings profoundly influenced later Chinese thought and formed the basis for the dominant Chinese ideology. His messages of knowledge, benevolence, loyalty, and virtue were the main guiding philosophy of China for thousands of years. His ideas played a major part in China's national identity, and his principle spread across East Asia and formed a major civilization there. Confucius believed that social harmony would naturally follow from the proper ordering of individuals concerning one another, with the family unit as the basic building of self-knowledge. He therefore stressed the cultivation of personal qualities such as benevolence and reciprocity as essential to the formation of well-educated and conscientious individuals who would benefit society through public services. He also believed that education and reflection led to virtue, and that those who sought to command others must cultivate this discipline and moral authority in themselves first. To spread his wisdom, he spent much of his time developing and illuminating his ideas on the art of government and continuing his teaching. He was passionate about learning from an early age, where he stated that at 15 I set my heart on learning. He studied music, mathematics, and history. His ideas attracted a wide circle of followers who knew him as Confucius, Master Kong. His teaching included instruction in ritual, music, history, and poetry. His followers and students compiled and recorded his words in the Analects, a collection of ethical concepts which is still one of the best reference to Confucius' life. Thus, when he died in 479 BC, he left behind a great number of students who devoted themselves to preserving and spreading their master's teachings. Confucius' teachings were also enthusiastically adopted as Chinese state ideology by the Han Dynasty. Therefore, the Analects went on to guide governments and individuals for centuries, informing and influencing Chinese history and civilization. Experiencing was the ideal way of learning for Confucius. Thus, he devoted much of his time to travel. He believed that by doing this, he can achieve new knowledge by meeting people and spreading his wisdom to a broad audience. While traveling, he was received with great respect by the leaders of the states he visited. Reflection and learning from one another were important for Confucius. There is an important note that Confucius himself believed in and can teach us a great lesson. By three methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is the easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. Despite his intellectuality, there is uncertainty that Confucius wrote any of the works attributed to him. It is still possible to know something about the general nature of his philosophy, but it is evident that shortly after his death, as mentioned, his followers compiled a work known as the Analects, where this work consists of conversations between Confucius and his students and sometimes occasional rulers, and states his main concerns. The main concern of Confucius was the political knowledge of rulers. This is evident in the Analects, which is emphasizing in political philosophy. He was concerned about the rampant immorality and misbehaving of much of the government of his time, and he spent much of his life trying to find a ruler who would accept his teaching that ethical consideration should be the guiding principle of government. He believed that the primary task of the ruler was to achieve the welfare and happiness of the people of his state. To accomplish this aim, the ruler had first to set a moral example through his conduct, and this example would in turn influence the people's behavior. He rejected the use of rigid legal system and believed instead that moral practice and voluntary obedience were the best ways of maintaining order in society. After his death, his believer compiled and gathered Confucius' ideas and teaching and established the school of Confucianism, which this school profoundly attributed to much of Chinese and East Asia culture. Confucianism has always remained one of the most influential philosophies in China. During the Han Dynasty, Confucianism became the official state ideology. During this time, Confucius schools were established to teach Confucianist ethic. This school has always been concerned with practical questions of morality and ethics. For example, how should man live to master his environment, provide suitable government, and achieve moral harmony? Central to Confucianism is that the moral harmony of the individual is directly related to cosmic harmony. What one does affects the other. For instance, poor political decision might lead to natural disasters such as floods. An example of the direct correlation between the physical and the moral is evidenced in the saying, "Heaven does not have two suns and the people do not have two kings." A consequence of this idea is that just as there is one and only one cosmic environment, there is only one true way to live and there should be only one correct political system. The main idea of Confucianism is the importance of having a good moral character, which can then affect the world around the person through the idea of cosmic harmony. If the emperor has moral perfection, his rule will be peaceful and benevolent. In this belief, natural disasters and conflict are the results of straying from ancient teachings. To achieve this moral character is through the virtue of Ren, or humanity, which leads to more virtuous behaviors such as respect, selflessness, and modesty. Also, to create this virtuous character, this school believes in the importance of education. It is believed that people are essentially good yet may have strayed from the appropriate forms of conduct. Rituals in Confucianism were designed to bring about this respectful attitude and create a sense of community within society. This school also focuses on the action of rulers and those in power. It is expected that they must lead by example. They must be benevolent to win the affection and respect of the public, and not do so by force, which is futile. Rather, they should be models of high moral upstanding. Finally, we can end up with the golden rule of Confucianism, which is, do not do unto others what you would not want others to do unto you.